Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's weather update. So, unfortunately, another dangerous flood event is coming to the Northeast tomorrow, and the Weather Prediction Center has issued a moderate risk of excessive flooding rainfall for central northern New Jersey, far eastern Pennsylvania, southeast New York State, Connecticut, Rhode Island, much of Massachusetts, central and southern Vermont, most of New Hampshire, and southwestern Maine in the red tomorrow. We have a slight risk of excessive flooding rainfall extending from Maryland and Delaware across eastern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, central New York, northwest Vermont through much of Maine in the yellow, and a marginal risk of flooding tomorrow from south Oklahoma, North Texas, across the southeast, and into portions of Pennsylvania and New York State, as well as across portions of the upper Midwest. So we already have flood watches in effect from Virginia all the way up through Maine in the dark green for tomorrow, as unfortunately another several inches of rain are going to be likely across the Northeast from this flooding event. And looking at the 18Z run of the H-R model to time out the rain for tonight and tomorrow, rain is going to approach from the west through the overnight hours across central Pennsylvania and western New York State. And as we go through the overnight tonight, around 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the rain is going to push into much of New York State, eastern Pennsylvania, into New Jersey. And then as we go into tomorrow morning, we're going to likely be seeing heavy rain across New York City, Connecticut, through New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, western Massachusetts. And then as we go into around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, heavy rain likely across Long Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Vermont especially where you don't need the rain. Going into tomorrow afternoon, notice how the rain kind of just trains over New England through the afternoon. This is a situation we do not want to see, as training rain is going to likely result in several inches of rain across highly saturated grounds across the Northeast. And this rain is going to continue all the way into late tomorrow night across areas of southeastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, eastern Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine. And then, even as we go into early Monday morning, the rain will eventually exit to the northeast. So, looking at new rainfall accumulations for this rainfall event, a widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain is projected in the H-R model across the whole northeast, and where these pockets of heavy rain set up is where I am concerned about some dangerous flash flooding. We got some pockets of 4 to 7 inches across New Hampshire, Maine, eastern New York State, and then another pocket across southern New Jersey, Delaware, Long Island. And these pockets could be anywhere across the Northeast. So make sure you are preparing for extreme heavy rain and moderate to dangerous flooding tonight and tomorrow across the Northeast. Looking at another model to see how the rainfall accumulations, so the NAM-NEST model is even more aggressive on rainfall accumulations, giving a swath of 4 to 9 inches across southeastern New York State into Vermont and into New Hampshire, areas that absolutely do not need rainfall. And then looking at the North American model, the North American model is painting another broad brush of 2 to 4 inches across much of the same areas. And then looking at the RAP model, much of the same, widespread 2 to 4 inches, pockets of 4 to 7 inches. And then finally looking at the European model, this model is showing less, so hopefully this model pans out, but unfortunately the European seems to be the outlier in the models. So make sure that if you live across the Northeast, you're preparing for another dangerous flood event tomorrow. And if any flash flood warnings are issued for your area, make sure you're seeking higher ground, and make sure you do not drive through a flooded roadway flooded roadways. Thanks for watching this evening's weather update. Stay safe and have a wonderful evening, my friends.